Welcome back, Breakaway Wealth. I'm your host, Jim Oliver, and with me today, my co-host, Nick Kosko. Welcome, Nick.
Hey, thanks for having me. Looking forward to taking a different approach to a topic we've talked about here before.
Absolutely. You know, we talk a lot about the book, Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. And where people get to in the book is the equipment financing example. And they think that this is this answer for them. And they think that they have it all figured out. First of all, most people who read the equipment financing example don't feel like that, but they read it 2 or 3 times. Hopefully they take our Becoming Your Own Banker course inside the Create Tailwind community. And then they go, okay, got it. Right now, but I'm explaining it there like the book intends it to be explained, but I'm not putting the Create Tailwind Breakaway Wealth spin on it, Nick. That's what we're going to do today.
All right, before you go on, those of you who just heard about the community for the first time, here's where you can go find the community. You can go to community.createtailwind.com, or you can just go into your Apple or Android store, and here's the important part. You got to type in Create Tailwind, all is one word. You'll find our community on there. Come in. There's multiple training courses on there. Becoming Your Own Banker is the course Jim was just referencing. So check that out. Appreciate you joining the community.
Absolutely. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen for this, Nick. For somebody who's just listening to this in their car, you can follow along. If you've read the book visually, grab a copy of the book. You can do it either way, watch the video later, whatever you want to do. But I think this is important to kind of look at this and just.
So well, we're going to start, you start on page 54, Jim?
I am starting on page 54. That's where we should be right there. And I'm going to be looking down a little bit because I'll be drawing, etc. But Nick, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Let's say that you and I go by, and this is, by the way, the beginning part of this is similar to an example Nelson uses in the book. But let's say today we were going to go buy a brand new F-150 pickup truck.
Okay.
All right. And you and I are going to buy the exact same truck, all the same options, same sticker price, even the same color. Okay. And you, irresponsible owner as you are, Nick, in this example, only this example, you're going to drive it like bad out of Hades. You're going to just drive it. You're going to drive it hard. You're not going to worry that much about the maintenance schedule. If the check engine light doesn't come on, then it probably doesn't need anything. You're going to drive it like nobody's business, right? Okay. How many miles are you going to get out of that car?
I might get 100,000.
100,000. All right. Now I'm going to buy the same car today and I'm going to drive it. I'm going to change the oil every 3,000 miles. I'm going to only use synthetic oil. I'm going to have the car inspected, make sure it's running right. I'm going to use 93 octane fuel only from the best gas stations and keep the tire pressure right and detail it every 6 months. How long is the car going to last me?
What did you drive it like you drive your car, like with the gas pedal?
This is just an example. This is hypothetical.
Okay.
Not real life at all.
You'll probably get twice the miles I'll get.
Okay. So let's say 200,000. All right. So when we look at an insurance contract, I kind of look at an insurance contract the same way.
Okay.
Right? I can buy a life insurance contract. I can leave the money in there like Northwestern Mutual wants me to. Let them use the money. And in 30 years or 10 years or 50 years or whatever, I'm going to have a large chunk of money in there depending on how I funded it. Right. And, God forbid I die, it's going to do its job. It's going to pay me. God forbid I get sick, it's going to pay me. It's going to do its job. It's going to be that F-150 that is doing what an F-150 does. Okay. But one of the things that I forgot to tell you, in my truck, I'm going to haul diamonds from the distributor to the jeweler, and the jeweler is going to polish them up, cut them up, and we're going to sell them for a ton of money, right?
Okay.
And so I'm going to use the truck to make money. Okay. So now my 200,000 miles that I'm going to get out of that truck, it really doesn't matter whether I get 50, 200,000 or 250 or 500,000. Every day that I have that truck, I'm making money.
Yeah. It doesn't totally matter what you paid for the truck.
It doesn't really matter what I pay for the truck. Exactly. Because guess what? You're buying your truck, but I'm not buying my truck. Okay. If I go to Northwestern Mutual and I buy a policy and I leave it in there, or New York Life, or any of those life insurance, purely life insurance companies, if I do that, I'm the one paying the premiums. But remember, as everybody's seen, I'm sure that is on, or most people have seen probably in some of our videos, right? Is I have a choice right here. When I look at what I'm doing in my infinite banking system, okay, I can have an insurance policy that's designed for death benefit and cash value, and it's going to grow every single day, guaranteed, uninterrupted, and it's going to, like I said, it has death benefit, illness protection, it has all of those things in it. It's going to grow tax-free. Okay. The cash value is going to be tax invisible, meaning I'm not paying tax on it, just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yep.
Okay. That's the F-150 truck just by itself. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy it from a mutual insurance company, and I'm an owner in that company, and I get an interest only loan from that company, their money. So I get other people's money. Now, if I'm just doing infinite banking, like the way people teach it online, I'm going to take this is me. Okay. I'm going to go buy liabilities. I might buy cars. I might buy, or I might pay for my taxes, any major purchases that I have. Whatever other liabilities that I have. Okay. And I'm going to recapture interest and lost opportunity cost. Lost opportunity cost if I normally pay cash, interest if I normally finance. I'm going to do that on all of these things, right? And I'm going to get that money instead of that money going out to somebody else's bank. Okay. Normally the interest or lost opportunity cost goes out the door. The flow normally is away from me. I'm going to reverse the flow of these liabilities. Okay. Okay. But in this example that we're talking about, let me see if I can erase this very quickly here. Look at that. Not too bad. That's without any training at all, Kosko. And I'm going to buy assets though. Right? Okay. So I'm going to buy, let's just say, real estate. I'm going to buy a business. I'm going to buy some more real estate, and make it simple, another business. Okay. Now, when I do that, that business makes money, cash flows back to me. I just keep doing that over and over again. Okay. This is the diamonds. The diamonds are paying the premiums. Because eventually, where do I put this cash flow? I got to put it in a bank.
It's going to reside.
Do I want to put it in a bank that I own and control, or somebody else?
Yeah. The one that I own and control.
Absolutely. So that's the diamonds, the assets. So when we look at this example, the equipment financing example, which so many people have talked about over and over and over again. Okay. And just to remind you, this is $15,000 base premium, $25,000 paid up addition. So that's 40% base, 60% PUA for the total premium, right? 40,000. And because the guy's not doing anything with it, he only wants to put premium in there for as short a period of time as he can. Right. And this is back in the 80s when dividends were high. Okay. So he only has to put it in there 4 years. Today, in today's world, it's probably going to be somewhere in this range where you would have to put it. Northwestern Mutual would tell you, like, hey, you can, it's self-sufficient after so many years, right? Such craziness.
All right. Well, there's always such a lower guarantee when you got that higher volume of dividend anyway. There's gamesmanship and all of that.
Because you have to show a high dividend. Okay, now remember, that's right here, the dividend. Okay, I'm going to show you something about the dividend and how the dividend changes over time. But the dividend, look at this, in this example, there is no dividend for the first 2 years. What does that mean? That means everything's guaranteed.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a high guarantee,
it's a high guarantee in the beginning, right? Which is cool because we like guarantees in life. If you can get guarantees, that's a good thing. Okay.
He puts in 40 in year 2 and it goes up 41,000.
Exactly. Which is great. And we would love that. That's how the policy would work optimally back in those days. Okay. But he doesn't want to put any premiums. Now, in reality, Nelson couldn't put premiums in after the first 4 years because the spreadsheet would be a mess. Right now, people get it confused already. Okay.
Yeah.
But there is no loans here. So this looks super clean. But I want everybody to understand something. In a whole life policy, the base premium has to be paid. Is that the right way to say it? Has to be paid. In this scenario, it has to be paid. I'm going to show you in the scenario when you really look at infinite banking, why you want to pay it. You get excited about paying it, okay? But in this scenario, it has to be paid. So it has to be paid, that $15,000 forever. But this is the net annual outlay, what he's paying out of his pocket. There is no $15,000 there. So how is the premium paid? Well, we could say it's by the dividend, but the dividend is only $6,339. And we know we got to pay 15. But look at this. He surrenders his death benefit. Okay. Now remember, the dividend is buying paid up additions. We're putting paid up additions in there. For everybody, just as a reminder, a paid up addition is I put in $1 and I have $1 of cash and I have a little bit more than $1 of death benefit. How much more? Tell me how old you are and what kind of underwriting class you are, and I can tell you. A couple dollars, $2, $3, maybe more, okay? But we surrender that. So his death benefit goes from 1.684 here to 1.651. And it continues to do that until year 17. And it starts to go back up between year 16 and 17. Why? The dividend is over the base premium. But notice how it only goes up a little bit, right? So I put in $200 and it goes up, $3,000. So that's what I mean by a little bit more than $1. Okay. And he doesn't, here's how these life insurance companies sell this. Well, look, it doesn't do anything. He put $160,000 in, and if dividends stayed the same for 35 years, he'd have 1.517, $1.5 million. Okay, $1,517,320. All right.
Pretty good.
But Nelson says, hey, you want to have some cash flow over here, which potentially is tax-free. Okay. We're really not going to get that much into that right now. Okay. And why is it 92,000, this weird number? Well, because Nelson wanted the death benefit to stay the same. Okay. He didn't want it to be that complication or somebody to say, well, you lost your death benefit. Okay. Because he knows how life insurance agents are. And this is what a life insurance agent sells. This is how 99% of life insurance is sold. 99%. Okay, but this was his nephew. Again, everybody knows kind of the example. He has 4 trucks, 2 tractors, a tree shearer. The trucks are around 65K. Tractors are around 130 to 150. And then the tree shear is about 250,000. Okay. But remember, that's what he's doing with the bank. All that money's going to the bank. And they get to chop him off at the knees if they want to, right? What's happening over here is on the insurance side. The loan to the policyholder is number one. They have to, if the policyholder wants a loan of the general account, the insurance company has to give it to them. Okay. And they could act like the bank if they wanted to. Again, remember, this is not a lesson for this is a different look at the equipment financing example. For an extensive explanation of this example, go to the Becoming Your Own Banker course inside of the Create Tailwind community. All right. So we know we're buying a $65,000 vehicle. You know, that would get you maybe an F-150 today. And they're going to put $13,000 down. They're going to finance $52,600. He's going to pay about $20,000 of interest. Says time, price, differential, and finance charge. Okay. And we know that with the down payment, everything, it's going to be about $85,000 all in. Okay.
Okay.
He's going to finance it, right? 48 payments, $1,500 a month. We're always rounding. Like the round numbers. I know it drives you engineers crazy, but we're just rounding the numbers. Okay. It's always funny that engineers are so hung up on the numbers, but then they put a fudge factor in there of 20 or 30%, like with an airplane or something. You know, you would think they would know exactly when that airplane would fall apart. Okay.
Here comes the cavalcade of comments and emails that are coming in from the engineer.
I know. I set myself up there, didn't I, Nick? All right. So this is my F-150 being my own banker, right? Now I'm going to borrow $52,600 right here in year 4. Okay. And I'm sorry, in year 5. And why does that say 34.6? Because remember, I'm paying $1,500 a month times 12. That's 18 grand. 52,600 minus 18,000 is 34.6. Okay, here's my cash value. Now, one thing to point out, Nick, I could have done that in the second year. So my F-150 could have been hauling diamonds in the second year.
Yeah.
But it didn't. Okay. This is the way Nelson did it. All right. So all I do is I want you to look at this too, because I don't think people think about this. I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and finally 8 loans over 35 years. Okay, that's it. 8 loans. And I have now 1.988 million, $470,000 more. Okay, wait a minute. My F-150 just made $470,000. Okay, how did I'm sorry, it made me $470,000 as the bank.
Yeah, that's just the interest.
Which is just the interest and the profit on the loans, right?
Yeah.
So I'm the owner of the bank here. On this first example, I'm the customer of the bank. Okay, the customer is bragging how well they did, but the owner always does better, right? Try not to make people dizzy as I scroll. Okay, so all right, but I was in the diamond business for 35 years on this one. How much money did I make?
Probably
I don't know.
Dumb amount.
A dumb amount. Who bought the trucks?
The insurance company.
That my customers bought the trucks. Okay. So now, everybody knows I have more than, I have $125,000. I have more death benefit. Okay. So I put in 160 in the original when I didn't do anything. I put 315 in here. Where did that 315 come from? The extra money.
Payments back to myself.
That's right. So where that money was going to go out to the bank. So it's not like my cash flow changed. It's just which way the money flowed changed. Right? Okay. So what's funny is, so then what Nelson does is he says, okay, here's 2 trucks. Right? Here's 3 trucks. And then he shows this example that you didn't capitalize enough for anything more than 3 trucks. But if you wait a little bit till you're 12, then you can do 4 trucks in a tractor, right? Okay. But wait a minute, there's still only 8 loans. Was this as good as it got? No. First of all, what would have happened if this person would have put $100,000 in for 4 years, or $1 million for 4 years? I mean, it's a bank. When you go down to the bank, they don't say, well, let me tell you what it's going to cost to put money in here. Right. And so this is not, they say, how much money do you want to put in the bank? And the more you put in the bank, the more we give you access to. Same thing with the insurance company. The more you capitalize, the more that you get access. So your question should be, how much can I put in there? Okay. But remember, at this point right here, when he increases his system, all right, he's putting, he's borrowing $315,600, right? And then he's paying back $9,000 a month times 12 is $108,000 right there. Okay. I'm sorry, right here. All right. So what was he paying the bank? 16,000. So roughly 44% is still going out the door to the bank. So no, this isn't a great example of somebody using infinite banking. Because this would, if he was smart, there would be no money going out to the bank. But remember, these are Peterbilt trucks. Those trucks make money. Now we have a business and it costs us that we use trucks, right?
That's right.
And how much does it cost us per hour to run those trucks?
It's about $110, $115 an hour per truck.
All right, remember we like to round next, so let's call that $100. Okay. We'll get Becky to get a little bit more efficient. No,
I got fumbled with $7 diesel there all of a sudden. I was like,
oh,
it was 100.
Thank you, Joe Biden. I'm sorry, scratch that. No, I'm just kidding. You can leave that in. We don't get political here, but sometimes you got to call a spade a spade. So is that a bad? That's not a bad. Okay, so I'm just thinking of, isn't a spade dull? And Joe Biden's kind of dull. Okay, because okay, forget it. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Okay, so so our truck, it costs about $100 an hour to run, right? If we're really efficient and it's booked, how many dollars an hour does it make?
How many dollars an hour does it make? It needs to be pushing about $300 an hour.
$300 an hour. And so that's a good rate of return on our money.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay. I'm going to say that Terry Nelson's trucks were somewhere in that same ratio.
Terry Nash.
Yeah. Who did I say?
Terry Nelson.
Terry Nash. It is the middle of the afternoon. Just a full disclosure. Okay. Terry Nash. I'm going to say his trucks were the same ratio. Our trucks are more than 250 grand, and his truck was 65,000. So, but who is making all of those payments on these trucks?
Our customers.
Our customers. Okay. So the more money we make with them, that's the more money that the customers make for us and pay for our diamonds. We're hauling diamonds. You're hauling diamonds. You go buy real estate, you're hauling diamonds.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, Nick, can you guess the book recommendation we're going to give today?
Acres of Diamonds.
It's going to be Acres of Diamonds. Okay. So, but we'll get to that because we always recommend the book in every episode. All right. So think about something here. What Nelson gets down to, and again, this is not explaining to you the equipment financing example. Okay. But in 4 trucks, actually 3 trucks, 4 trucks and a tractor for 6 loans, and then 2 loans, just 3 trucks. That's our basis. Remember, it was 160,000.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So now we're putting in 700 and whatever $1,000 more, 785, I'll call it rounded, right? Is to build $2 million. So we're putting in 785 to get $2 million more at the end. Okay.
Amazing.
All right. I want to show you something now. Remember when he could stop paying the premium on that policy because the dividend exceeded the premium. It was year 17, right?
Originally, yeah.
So just by doing those few loans, it's year 12. Now, it's not, okay, it's 5 years. No, that's a big percentage. That's a third less, right? Or so. Again, rounding numbers. It's like 66% of the time that it was going to take, it takes now, right? Like, is that making sense? Is there a better way to say that?
No, you cut the time by a third.
By a third. That's what I was trying to say. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, everybody wants to focus when they're selling life insurance on the dividend. Is that what was important?
No.
What made it go down here to 12? Behavior.
Yeah.
We got the money to stop flowing away from us and start flowing back to us. It doesn't do that when I just buy the F-150 and don't do anything with it, when it just sits there and looks pretty. Okay. It's a liability when it's sitting there and looking pretty. This is a liability. This vehicle. This is an asset. All of these other examples are assets. So a really experienced practitioner the other day asked me, hey, how do you explain the rate of return inside the insurance contract? And I said, I don't. Because tell me what you're going to do with the insurance contract, and then I'll try to explain the rate of return. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, Jim. Well, I'm going to go buy cash flowing assets with it? Yeah. Okay, the return will be high. Higher than you could probably expect. Right? Now, everybody has their diamonds that they're hauling. And if you don't, you want to have them. So you have to learn how to have them, which is part of what we do on this show. We don't always talk about infinite banking. In fact, we haven't for a while, but I felt like this was so important because this is not, by the way, are all of these policies written the same way, funded the same way, everything else?
Nope.
Right. This is the same policy used a different way. It's the same F-150 that you and I are going to buy, but then it's a race to see how great you can use it. Now, what percentage of IBC practitioners teach this?
Couple.
Yeah, like we're being kind at saying a couple percent, right? And maybe there's a couple of firms out there, and they're all firms that we've mentioned on this show, Nowlin and Wealth Management in Birmingham. They focus on Birmingham. And if you're in Birmingham, Alabama, you could not go wrong calling those boys and going down and visiting their office. Okay. And maybe one other firm, and then that's about it. Right. And I mean, obviously us, but and because we like to live where we like to live, we do everything by Zoom. So you don't get donuts and coffee when you meet with us, unfortunately. So we're going to help you stay preferred plus. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So Nick, what's going to happen? What drives this way to get more and more efficient is the same thing that drives that bottom line cash value is your behavior. But the thing that I think is so cool is people look at this example and they actually think that, I'm sorry, Terry, they actually think you are good at infinite banking, but you're not. Because look at all this money over there that you got sitting there that you didn't put in motion. And remember, go ahead.
It starts with something else though, Jim. And
yeah.
I know we're about out of time here.
I know.
I want to understand, but before you get to the equipment financing piece of this book, there's a page 14 about imagination.
You stole my wrap up here, Nick. Go ahead.
I know. As I've been down this road.
Are you trying to tell me it's time to wrap up?
But Carl Gauss had imagination, and Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge. And what you do with the policy is off the page. That's what really matters. Jim's showing you the foundation of the policy. He's saying, hey, this is an example of what Terry Nash did, but there was so much more that could have happened. How Jim's policies work are different than how mine work, because guess what? We're doing different things with our policies, right? And everyone, it's about your imagination, getting a grease board and drawing out all your wildest, craziest dreams about what you're going to do, right? Like what's your mind map look like? And I'd say it starts there. Because like you said, what's the internal rate of return on the policy? I don't care. Honestly. Yeah. I don't mean to be flippant about it. There's a thing there, but it doesn't matter.
What did the F-150 cost? I don't care what the F-150 cost. I'm hauling diamonds in it.
I'm getting about 400 or 500% cash on cash return.
Whatever it is. I mean, I know it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's more than that, right? And
so, but think about it, Nick, when we show people, so you got rate of return on the assets, you got rate of cash flow, you got depreciation, which is a rate of return. You've got expenses that you're using against that. You could do cost segregation, you could do all of these different things, and you got tax-free rate of return. You got all of these things together. And when somebody builds you a spreadsheet that says, this is how much you're going to save paying off your vehicles. I mean, like, okay, that's cool. That's cool for if you are still in the herd, that's cool. It's a great thing, but let's break away from the herd. All right. So obviously the book is Acres of Diamonds, because I want you to think about what are your diamonds. That's where the imagination comes in. We're going to wrap this up quick, but Nick, give them how to get to the community again, because if you really want to see all of the ins and outs of the equipment financing example, the book, you got to take the course.
Yeah. So Acres of Diamonds, I'll touch on that just real quick. Russell Conwell from Temple University. It was a speech he did there. I recommend that you read it. It's really short. The moral of the story is, man, there's an acre of diamonds right underneath your feet. And so when you think, hey, look at that guy going, what he's doing over there, I can't do that. Well, I want you to just know that you can do anything you put your mind to. And it really comes down to some personal reflection, and then mind mapping. That's what Jim and I do ourselves, and finding out, hey, what are all the things that you can go do. Lastly, if you're not on the community yet, you should be there. Go to community.createtailwind.com or go to either the Apple or the Android store and type in Create Tailwind, all one word. And also, hey, we'd love to hear your reviews about the Breakaway Wealth podcast. We think that 5 stars are the only appropriate amount of stars for this show. We feel like we're definitely delivering just a fuzz of value. And if you ever need us, just go to createtailwind.com, click on contact us. One of us will reach out to you and see how we can best serve you. But thanks for,
if you've got, I would say too, Nick, at the, just to wrap up, is if you've got somebody you think should be on this show, or you've got an idea, or you have a request for a topic for the show, send us an email. I promise we'll do it. Well, I'm not everything that you could come up with, but but most things we'll get people on. Okay. So,
we appreciate it. Hey, thanks for flipping the script on this, Jim. It's always good to hear what you're noodling on, thinking things differently.
Absolutely.